Alright, everybody, we are back with another video. Today we are going to be going over what consumes I will be stockpiling and bringing for tanking and leveling in dungeons for the Burning Crusade. So I've been telling a lot of people that, especially on a PvP server, it might be in your best interest to level in a dungeon, especially if you can get a really strong group to run with. Now, as it's looking for my group, we are going to have 3 Paladins, a Mage, and then we still haven't decided on the 5th member quite yet. Now, I decided to go with at least a 3 Paladin group because that is going to give us the full sweep of auras that we care about. That is going to give us Devotion Aura, that's going to give us Retribution Aura, and then that is also going to give us Sanctity Aura, as well as the improved Sanctity Aura for even more damage. Now, the other reason that I really want a 3 Paladin group is obviously buffs. That's going to give us Kings, that's going to give us Might, and that's going to give us Wisdom. I'm not really going to care about Threat with Salve because, frankly put, nobody's going to be pulling off of Paladin tanks in dungeons. Threat is not an issue. The big thing there also is that Consecrate does not suffer from the AoE cap. So if we have 3 or more Paladins who are geared to the teeth and stacking spell power, the sheer amount of AoE that we can put out against the mobs in dungeons is going to be hard to beat. So, if we're going with that, what are we looking for in consumables? So, one consumable, or rather 2 consumables that I think people constantly forget about are from Ungoro Power Crystals. For some reason, whenever I mention these, people just kind of like slap their foreheads and say, yeah, I completely forgot about these. So you can get crystal charges by turning in 10 yellow power crystals and 10 red power crystals at the pylons in Ungoro. So as you'll see for this one, we'll go over here. The crystal charge is from the northern, and the other one we'll be working on and kind of focusing is Crystal Spire. So what's nice about these is when you turn in 10 of each of those crystals, you get 6 crystal charges. Now these share the same cooldown as sappers and grenades, but if you'll look at them, 383 to 517 damage. This is about 450 average damage. Now that is not very much less damage. That's about 150 less damage than a sapper, except these have range to them. You can throw them and their damage is absolutely fantastic. So yeah, sappers do more damage. If you trust your healer, you can use them after you've pulled everything or while you're bubbled. But these are great for pulling. I highly, highly recommend that everybody who is going to be doing dungeon leveling get as many of these as you can. The other thing that is wonderful about these, you do not have to be an engineer. These are way better than easy throw dynamite, and you don't have to be an engineer. There's literally no excuse for people in your group not to have as many stacks of these as they can carry. On top of that, at least on my server, the power crystals normally go for a ridiculously low amount. Earlier today, I bought about 50 yellow power crystals for 10 silver each, and I normally see the red power crystals going for about 10 to 15 silver. So for 2 gold and 50 silver, you're going to get 6 grenades, whereas sappers are currently selling for about 3 gold, 50 silver. So you are getting way more bang for your buck. You don't have to be an engineer, and these can be used for pulling. So because I probably will not have a druid in my group, or at least I'm not planning to have one, I'm going to be using Crystal Spires. So you get these by turning in 10 yellows and 10 blues, and again it'll get you 6 of this item. And it essentially gives you thorns. It gives you 12 damage every time you're touched. This on top of Ret Aura is going to make your threat generation pretty much go through the roof when you are mass pulling. Again, these are just so cheap to get. I cannot recommend them enough, especially if you don't have a druid in your group. If you do have a druid in your group, Thorns will overwrite the Crystal Spire buff. So the real big one, and the one that is going to be the most expensive, is Flasks of Supreme Power. Now, I believe these do get nerfed down quite a bit in TBC, or else they would just be way too powerful, but I still will be using these. Now, another big nerf to Flask of Supreme Power is that they count as both a Guardian Elixir and a Battle Elixir. So this is all you can use if you decide to use a Supreme Power. But again, the amount of spell power that it's going to be adding is amazing, and it's over 2 hours. So I do plan on getting 9 more of these, so I have 24 hours worth of Supreme Powers, because I will be doing a 24-hour stream where we will be just ripping through dungeons as fast as we can. Now, if you can't afford to buy a whole bunch of Flasks of Supreme Power, even though they have tanked in price, at least on my server, you do have another option. You can get a Spirit of Zanza, a Sheen of Zanza, or the Run Speed Zanza pot. Those all count as Guardian Elixirs, and they are very useful. You can, if you're the tank, you can pop a Spirit of Zanza for that extra stamina, or if you think you're going to be in a dungeon that has a lot of casters, you can pop a Sheen of Zanza and hopefully reflect some spells back, stop some damage, and do some damage. And then you can combine this with a Greater Arcane Elixir, which is going to give you 35 spell power for 1 hour. That way you are getting your spell power and then also a little bit of utility as well. Hey, we're about to get an Nixia buff. Nice. So another item that every single caster in your group should be having, even the Ret Paladins and the Holy Paladins, is Brilliant Wizard Oil for the 36 spell power and 1% crit. Now, what's really nice about the oils in TBC is they are actually getting a big buff. They are going from 30 minutes to 1 hour. So that means what I have sitting here is 35 hours of Brilliant Wizard Oil. So that's going to far exceed what I need for leveling. Now, another item that I feel like a lot of Paladins just kind of forget about is Dragon Breath Chili. Now, in the most recent patch with spell batching and other things fixed, Dragon Breath Chili had a huge fix to it. Before this patch, Dragon Breath Chili could not proc while you had a GCD up. So that means if you were hitting your Seal, if you were hitting a Judgment, if you were casting your Consecration, that's it. While you're swinging, Dragon Breath Chili would not proc. That is no longer the case. Now, it still is under the 10-second internal cooldown, but that's not so bad, especially because we are going to have Reckoning. If you spec into Reckoning and you are mass pulling in dungeons, you should have Reckoning up pretty much 100% of the time, and Seal of Righteousness can proc Dragon Breath Chili, so every melee swing you have has a chance of proccing Dragon Breath Chili. This also means that you want to have a fast weapon. For me, I am lucky enough to have Wraithblade that I will be using. It has a 1.8 second attack speed. This is perfect for Reckoning. Now, on top of that, Dragon Breath Chili scales at a 1-to-1 ratio with spell power. So that means, and it can crit. It is actually affected by spell crit as well. So Dragon Breath Chili can hit for a huge amount of damage. Now, it is affected by the AoE cap, but if you're just pulling 4, 5, 6 packs at a time, the damage on the Dragon Breath Chili is still going to be absolutely insane. I cannot recommend it enough. I've been collecting some mystery meat. I actually need to go get some small flame sacks and I want to make sure I have a big stockpile of that ready to go. So, another thing that is going to be speeding things up in your dungeon is making sure that you're not having to stop to drink. As a Paladin tank, unfortunately, you can sometimes have mana issues. Your spiritual attunement sometimes isn't enough to keep your mana bar full. So luckily on my server, people have been doing tribute runs, Direball tribute runs like crazy. And major mana potions did dip under 1 gold a piece for some time. So I was able to stock up on a large amount of mana potions. This is just going to help keep your run going smoothly and quickly. I highly recommend everybody who is a mana user go and pick up as many of these as you can. And then, of course, if you trust your healer, and especially if you have a Paladin, a Holy Paladin in your group, because they never really seem to run out of mana, you can also use Demonic Runes and Dark Runes to supplement your mana gen. But yeah, aside from that, there are some honorable mentions. If you're trying to do really, really huge mass pulls, you could try popping a Swiftness Potion. If you're having a little of trouble when you're doing a mass pull, you could try popping a Stone Blood. But for me, this is going to be the core of the consumables that I will be bringing to level inside of dungeons in TBC. If there's any consumables that you think I missed, or you think that would be better served in, my lineup, feel free to drop it in a comment below. And as always, if you ever have any questions about Paladin, if you have any questions about carries or anything at all, I stream every single day at twitch.tv/the Duke of TBC at 9 p.m. PST. I'm always doing free boosts. I'm always doing GDKPs and raid runs. And yeah, I think that's going to do it for this video. I hope you found it useful, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Later.